Hey there, this is the Orlando Squadcast. It is your one-stop shop for all the latest news, history, and updates from the City Beautiful.
Hey, checkers.
Ooh. Yeah. This city is so huge, so there's a lot going on.
So tips, secrets, happenings, anything that's new that's happening, you're going to be hearing it here first.
Thank you so much for listening to the Orlando Squadcast. If this is your first time, make sure you hit subscribe and like and all that stuff on the YouTube and wherever you get your podcasts. And if you're a returner, if you're a returning guest or a returning listener, you're our favorite one.
Thank you.
We love you.
We do love you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you're new, thank you.
I just said if you're new.
Well, I'm talking to you now. If you're new, are you sure you're on the right channel? Because you sure you clicked the right page?
Yeah.
Anyways, we love having you. We drop new episodes every Wednesday. We're talking everything Orlando, the people, places, and events that make this town so wonderful. So
get ready to be in the know and stay in the know.
We
said that too.
We did say that. We're getting redundant here.
Who's our guest? Who's our guest today?
Guys, today we're talking to Angela Robbins.
AR.
Yes.
AR.
She's the CEO and founder of Moxie Brands. She's had an amazing career. She's here to talk about her journey as CEO and her marketing and brand consultant agency and what ultimately brought her
just
to
another
Orlando.
like badass creating her own company.
Oh, yeah.
Just out of
We got a lot of badass
out of
entrepreneurs
hard
here.
work and just like dedication.
Oh,
I
yeah.
can't wait.
Very smart. Very
super put
great
together.
insight.
She knows what's going on.
From here as well.
She is
grew up
from here.
Yeah.
Grew up here,
Grew up
so
here,
it's a fun story.
Yeah. But I got to tell you what I did this
Oh yeah,
weekend.
what'd you do?
I went to a Tampa Bay Rays game. Yeah.
Huge.
And Mark, you should know. You were there.
I was there too.
Mark was there. We went to a baseball game together.
We went together.
It was
We went
so
together.
much fun. We had a great time.
Oh, how the turntables.
Tied. It was great.
I
We
think,
held
it's
hands.
I think it's healthy if two or three of us go do some stuff. Like you guys went to that concert.
Yeah,
that
we
one
went and saw
time.
Marcus King.
Yeah.
At
Never
the
talk-
Beecham right
Yep.
next door.
You guys talked to me like it didn't affect me.
Dude,
you guys ended up scootering around down.
It was one of the greatest nights of my life.
It
You
was.
keep saying that.
It
which
was a-
is-
it was a
hurts my
great
heart.
night.
I wasn't
Yeah.
there.
We learned a lot about each other.
I felt like Holden Caulfield in A Catcher in the Rye.
Oh my
I was
gosh,
just like
yeah.
living.
Yeah, and then
So I think so. What my point is, I think it's healthy sometimes if we split off and
Do
create
stuff?
our own twosome relationships.
Yeah.
So we've talked about this. We're going to do stuff together now too.
Anyway, we went to the race game. Have you ever been
we
there?
went to the race game. No, haven't been to a race game.
Oh,
It's a lot of fun.
should have invited.
We should have invited him. Yeah,
You should have invited me, but you
It's
didn't.
weird. It is fun. We saw the Braves play. Our friend Adam is a huge Braves fan.
Yeah.
We sat in like the third row, which was
Braves
really fun.
won.
They did win. Yeah.
Yeah, they won that game.
But the two first place teams. But the thing is, I grew up in Kansas City, and I had a great baseball stadium to watch.
Mhm.
You grew up in Chicago, so you probably went to Wrigley Field a lot, right?
Actually, so we're mid-state, so
Oh.
St. Louis is actually closer. So we went to a lot of St.
I
Louis
went to a
Cardinal
lot of-
games.
I did too. I went
But-
to
Those are great
Old
games,
Busch
too.
Stadium.
Their
That's
stadium's freaking
amazing.
amazing.
The old
Yeah.
one was really cool.
Yep.
The new one's good too.
One of the
Anyway,
river.
you go to a Rays game, and you're inside. It's a dome.
It's a dome, really?
Yeah, because all the rain in the summer,
The lightning.
and it's in St. Pete, so it's like an extra hour and a half.
It's a little far.
It's fun, but it's a trek. It's a trek,
Uh-huh.
and then you're inside. Watching baseball inside it's a little weird.
It is weird.
interesting.
There's something about
I
it
don't
that's
like it.
less exciting, right?
Yeah, you can
feels-
hear literally when you're like wherever you are sitting in the stadium, you can hear people in the out. If you're in the infield, you can hear people in the outfield be like, "Hey, how's your hot dog?" Like it's really weird.
Oh, because it's like acoustically perfect in certain seats.
Yes,
Yeah.
you like
Yeah.
can hear the players like just chatting,
conversing.
which is fun, but like
speaking
I don't
Spanish?
want to hear that they're talking.
Are you
about
serious? You can
the
hear them talking and
groceries.
stuff?
Yes.
It's like, watch out, he's going to be going all.
No, they don't talk about baseball. They just
But they're
talk about,
razzing each other.
Yeah.
That's
Oh.
all it. But it was a lot of fun. We got
You
some
should go.
drinks and-
You should go. It is,
Well, the
they're
setup
good.
is pretty good. They had the food stands over there, and
Oh,
they had
they
a lot
had
of
So is
food
it going to be the
options.
same type of idea that it would if we had the Orlando Dreamers here? Is that it would be the type of
like
dome thing?
It's a glass dome.
A glass dome? So it would feel outdoors, but it would be indoors.
The Rays are really good. They're first place in the AL East.
yeah,
They're really good.
There's still
It was
time.
pretty
they
crowded.
lost though. They
It was-
lost.
Yeah, it was pretty crowded. A
Their
lot of
pitcher
Braves
was good.
fans.
Yeah, it was.
So then what type of dome is it then if it's not a glass dome? What do
It's
you
a-
mean? Is it like a
it's
tinted dome?
It's like a tinted dome.
It's
yeah.
a dome.
It's a
It's like a
structure.
building.
It's like a big structure.
Oh, okay.
Just a big building.
Interesting.
Yeah, you should go once.
I'll,
Everybody should go to a Rays game
Yeah,
once.
I'll go. I think I'm going to go.
You should
I'm
go.
gonna go.
He's gonna go.
He's
We-
gonna
we talked
go.
him into
You
it.
guys have inspired me. Carlos, can you take over?
No, not right now. There's no game right now. There's no game. But yeah, that was fun.
Okay, cool.
Let's.
Hey, is it time to do the thing?
Yeah.
Hold on a second. Did you guys stay for the whole thing? Stay for the whole game?
We did. Well,
Seventh
they-
inning
okay.
stretched. What'd they do for that?
Well, so the games are abbreviated now.
Oh,
they have
there's a
a
pitch
clock.
clock.
Did you know this? That
Pitch
they
clock.
changed baseball now. So
You have to
baseball
pitch.
is faster.
There's a pitch clock behind the batter. It's
They have
15
30
seconds.
Is it 15
Oh, 30, yeah.
or is it 30?
It's 15 between when you're already up.
Pitches.
It's 30 between batters.
Yes.
30 seconds.
So it moves. The game moves now.
Watch it on TV once.
Oh, okay. So like this is how not really into baseball I am. I thought the pitch clock meant that they were showing how fast the pitches were being clocked at.
No, they've always done
they
that. No,
replaced
you
that
have
now with the timer.
you have a timer between pitches, so you can't take like an hour and like fix your pants.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
The games are like 2.5 hours now.
It moves.
Really?
It
It's
was
fast.
great.
The batters don't even step out of the box.
Mm-mm.
Wow.
You know how they used to step out and tap
Yeah.
your cleats and spit and pick your
Adjust
nose?
and
Yeah.
none
No
of that.
time.
Gone. You
do
got
they even adjust their cups or anything?
No,
they have to. They can like swing or
they
take
kinda
a step
wiggle.
out, but they got to go right back in.
they
the
kind of
box.
wiggle.
Kind of wiggle
Yeah.
a little bit.
Yeah.
Wow.
But it moved, and I like that. So
Okay.
that was good.
Groovy.
Hey, let's do some.
Let's do the thing.
Let's do some.
All right. So let's do a little bit of O-Town Throwdown.
Let's do a little bit of O-Town Throwdown.
with the soundbite.
O-Town Throwdown.
All right.
And that
Great.
was the
That was the
soundbite.
soundbite.
We
Thank
hope
you so much.
enjoyed
That was awesome.
that.
Yeah,
I
we
hope-
don't know which one it is. There's a multiple. We recorded multiple, but
Mystery.
we definitely soundbite. All right, you ready for local yokel?
I'm ready for the
Give it
local
to
yokel.
us.
Let's do another
we have another
soundbite.
soundbite.
Local yokel.
And that
Awesome.
was it. We
Yeah,
hope
that
you
was-
enjoyed
that
the
was the second-
soundbite.
Comment
Second
below.
soundbite.
Comment below if you
If you
like.
like, should we change it?
Yeah, let us know because we can change it.
Should we auto tune it?
Yeah, how
give us,
should we do
give
it?
us
Should
your
we make
feedback.
it a song?
Mhm.
Rob had a whole song for it, which was
I
an
did.
hour. But we
I
don't
get
have-
this.
No, we're not adding
All right.
snaps. All right, you guys ready?
Yeah, we're ready.
Starting July 27th, which has already happened, through November 18th, Food and Wine Festival is
It's a big
officially on at Epcot. It's
on.
on. Food and Wine Festival. It's back. It's back. We wait for it all the time. We do Flower and Garden just to hold us over to Food and Wine. You know what I mean? Flower and Garden, we're like, this is fine.
Mhm.
But it's not. You know, it's not Food and Wine.
It's light.
Food and Wine is happening. It started July 27th, which it used to be a fall thing. Remember
Yeah.
that?
Yeah.
That's an
So
early
it's
summer
basically
thing. Late
summer
summer
to
thing.
Christmas,
Yeah.
right? So what I'm going to go over now, you guys all know you've been there before. We've all been there.
Mhm.
They have new booths. So I'm going to tell you about the new booths and the new menu items, okay? We have 4 new booths. Char and Chop, a haven for meat enthusiasts featuring grilled specialties to tantalize your taste buds.
Yeah.
Wine and Wedge, a perfect stop for wine connoisseurs and cheese lovers, showcasing an array of pairings. Bubble and Brine, serving unique combinations of sparkling beverages and briny pickled or cured foods. Cured foods. Swirled Showcase, a sweet treat haven for dessert lovers, offering a variety of delectable swirled desserts and beverages. Those are brand new.
My mouth is watering.
I know my wife's we're going to Bubbles and Brine right away.
Oh, for sure.
Huge chance.
Bubbles and Brine.
Wine and
Loves it.
cheese sounds really good too.
Wine and
So
cheese
those
sounds
are going to be good. 4 new
Yeah.
booths, so make sure you check
Yeah,
that
the
out.
meat
The
one.
Char and Chop, I bet's going to be good.
Yeah, that one's gonna
I'm
get a lot of
carnivore, man. The
Yes.
carnivore is what they
Yep.
call me.
All right, now here's some new menu items. There's a range of new menu items across the booths to look forward to, including the plant-based Impossible Moussaka at Greece, the Fire Taco Roll in Japan, the Italian Hot Beef Sandwich in the Flavors of America, and much more. Okay,
Crap.
I know. Yep.
Whoa.
The Mexican booth has a new chimichurri skirt steak, and then also they have the Eat to the Beat concert series.
Yes.
So
It's over in
this year
America?
there's a few new ones. Mainly the 2 I want to. Well, there's 3 that I want to. Sugar Ray comes every year. He's
Yep.
always fun. Hanson's there. That's always fun.
Yep.
This year we have Philip Phillips from American Idol.
Philip Phillips. Nice.
We have Joey Fatone and friends,
oh, gosh.
and we also
local.
have the Bacon Brothers.
What?
The bacon.
Like
Kevin
Kevin
Bacon?
and his brother. They
And
have a
stop
band.
it.
No, they're coming.
Get
Really?
the heck out of here.
No.
Kevin Bacon's coming?
Yes, he's the Bacon Brothers.
When is he coming? Do you have those dates?
They're on the website.
They're on the website.
Yeah.
They didn't do that. But it's 3 performances. I think they have 2
Bacon
nights. 5:30, 6:45, and 8 p.m. That's going to be crazy busy.
You're
Bacon
supposed to
Brothers.
all wear pig snouts in the audience. All of their fans
For the
wear pig
Bacon
snouts
Brothers?
for the
Blood.
Bacon Brothers.
Pig
Isn't that
blood.
fun though?
Yeah.
The Kevin Bacon's going to be here. At
That's
Epcot.
really
That's
cool.
awesome.
And playing guitar.
What is their music like?
Bluesy.
Bluesy?
I'm just saying it. I don't know.
You have a
I think
feeling.
it's like
I got a
think it's like
feeling.
old rock.
you said it with confidence.
Maybe like
Yeah,
some
like you have their
bluesy.
album.
bluesy Southern style rock.
So that's
American Southern style bluesy rock.
yeah, bluesy. I'm gonna go, but that's what's happening. But also a kid friendly activity because it's important for the parents. They have those scavenger hunts. Have you done that yet at Epcot?
Yeah.
It is so fun. This year they have the Remy's Ratatouille Hide and Squeak is back.
Ooh, nice.
Okay, and for a limited time they have Pluto's Pumpkin Pursuit during the Halloween.
So those are different scavenger hunts.
Yeah, but the Remy's one's fun. You basically get a little map.
It's
My
kind of
kids
like
do
on
it
the
all
cruise
time.
ship, right? They did it on the cruise ship.
Yeah,
and now
yeah.
they
You
brought
get
it
a
to
map and you walk around, you find Remy's all over, and you
Yeah,
put stickers on, and then you
That's
get like
cute.
a cup at the
And
end.
the kids love that.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. So food and wine. I mean, we could talk for an hour about food and wine. We won't
Yeah,
because
we
that's a
won't.
long time.
Yeah.
I would
But
love
it's
to.
here. It's here.
It's here.
It's here already. It's
I know.
here.
It's
here.
it's
You can
already
go today.
here.
We can go right now.
It's a little hot.
Speaking of
cares?
hot,
I'm
It's
gonna wait
always
for
hot.
that fall snap.
It's time for
Speaking of hot,
and parks.
speaking of
Hopefully, I
hot.
didn't take your thunder.
you didn't take my thunder.
Okay,
It's
so
still
now
a
we have
rumbling.
Now we have.
Now we have another soundbite. It's the Park Narc.
And that was it.
Yep, that was
the
it. That was
soundbite.
Park Narc right
we
there.
Hope you liked it.
Thank you so much.
If you didn't, we don't care.
Yep.
Well, it depends who you are.
Yeah.
It depends who you
Comment
are.
below.
Yeah, comment below, and then we'll just deem whether or not we
Decide if
care
we
about
like
your
it or not.
opinion.
Yeah. What do you
So way to lead me in with a beat the heat there, Rob. What are the places in Magic Kingdom where we can all escape to into some air conditioning
Ooh, you're gonna give us
and
tips?
not be rushed around, but you can sit and soak up the air in
Tell me.
MK.
The coldest air in MK.
The coldest air in MK.
Tell
I
us,
have
tell
one
us.
location per land.
Oh, tell us.
This
Tell
is
us.
smart.
Tell us.
Yeah, for sure,
like
right?
this.
All right, so as you enter in, Main Street, USA, right? It's a long walk. Sometimes you do the ferry, you do the monorail,
Oh,
whatever.
yeah, you're
It's a
I feel
long
like
way
it's
of
the
getting up there.
hottest there
It's
too
hot.
in Main Street.
For sure, it's super hot.
A lot of people.
So you walk
direct
in.
sun.
Yeah, a lot of people, all their sunblock is
There's
sweat
no
off
trees,
already.
It's
Sweat.
direct
Yep.
sun.
You can tell who forgot to reapply their
Or didn't apply.
underarm lotion. What's
Yep.
that called again?
Deodorant.
Deodorant. That's what it's called. Yeah.
It's new to the market.
It's new. It just came out.
New idea. New concept.
New concept. Your underarms smell fresh. Main Street, USA. Whenever you're walking in, the Emporium is the main shopping
Yep.
store there. However, what some people don't realize is that it actually goes through a couple different areas. So you can actually walk through the Emporium
Goes down
and
the-
cool down.
I do that on the way out a lot.
Yeah.
Yep, for
I
sure.
walk through the whole street.
Yep. And you get away from the traffic for the people walking on the street, just
Yep.
looking at stuff.
That's good. Okay.
So that's that. Let's work our way left. So if we're going into Adventureland, you can always go to the Tiki room. Nice little air conditioned.
That's where I take my naps.
So beautiful there, right? We're going to keep wrapping around to the left. Frontierland, Country Bear Jamboree. Another sit-down place, super old school, awesome, but it's air-conditioned
Chuck E.
theater.
Cheese. It's like that show. Remember that?
Yeah, the
pizza place?
animatronic Chuck E.
Yeah.
Cheese thing.
Wait, Chuck E. Cheese?
Showbiz.
Showbiz Pizza.
Showbiz Pizza. Yep.
Chuck E.
Classic.
Cheese bought them out.
Yes, they did.
Yes.
Yep.
Anyway,
That's where
Showbiz.
like Friday Night at Freddy's or something.
Yeah,
That's like
so
those.
Yes.
so Country Bear Jamboree really reminds me of Showbiz Pizza.
Yeah, so Country Bear Jamboree, literally classic, but you can cool down there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As you're going around to Liberty Square, which is to the left-hand side. If you're looking at Cinderella's castles, we have the Hall of Presidents.
Yep.
So you can go to the Hall of Presidents, sit there,
Cool
chill,
off.
Take a nap.
cool off, take a nap.
Yeah. It's easy to get overheated in that part.
Oh,
For
man.
sure, for sure.
Yep.
As we were making our way back to the right a little bit, as we're into Fantasyland, you can go to the. You have to stand in line for a little bit, but you can go to Mickey's PhilharMagic.
Yep, it's great.
Nice little chill place,
Yep.
and it's fun for the kiddos too. So there's that one. As we're working our way even further, we're gonna go to Tomorrowland, and in Tomorrowland you can go to the People Mover. Or not the People Mover.
Carousel of Progress.
Carousel of Progress. Yes, thank
Yep.
you so much.
Carousel Progress?
Carousel of
Carousel of
Progress. And I think that is
Yeah, that's all of them.
That's all of 'em.
Those are shows. Like you can
Yeah.
go inside and ride a ride, but you're gonna wait in line forever.
Right.
Those they just funnel everybody.
the funnel
in.
everybody in. You can sit there and chill and that kind of thing.
You
So
know, I actually utilized those a lot, but I didn't realize I didn't put two and two together that I was planning to cool off.
Yeah.
I just do it.
you just do it, and now you have a
It's hot.
location, one for each land that you're in within Magic Kingdom.
Thanks, buddy.
That's great stuff.
That is great.
I
stuff,
love you
especially-
guys.
especially
love
right
you.
now. What's crazy about Florida is that all of us are getting tricked right now. It's August, and we're like, oh, it's fall,
Mhm.
but it doesn't get cool until November. So
Right.
like
Yeah.
September, October happen, and we start wearing
Sweating.
jeans.
Yep.
We put a jacket on in the morning, like
We
it's
try
gonna
to-
be cold.
we try to trick
pretend.
ourselves.
Nope.
Mhm.
We
Still
try.
hot.
It's
Mhm.
still hot.
Yep.
Well, it depends. Some Octobers can swing.
Maybe morning time, but midday.
Yeah, it's still going to
You
be
need to
hot.
still going to Carousel Progress, cool off because
Oh,
you wore
yeah.
your jeans and your jacket.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And there's just a lot of direct sunlight in Magic Kingdom.
Yeah.
And
So
the
hot.
concrete, I don't know, something about it absorbs the heat. It's
It's
crazy.
so hot.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's fun.
You know what?
That's great.
I
Narc.
I,
That's a great
I
narc.
love
There you
it.
go, Narc.
You love Lamp.
I love Lamp.
I love
Yeah.
that.
All right. So next we have
We're going to talk about
new soundbite.
new soundbite.
New soundbite. Here we go.
And?
Progress? Thank you very much.
Progress.
Yep. All right, guys. So did you know, I mean, everybody's familiar with Downtown Winter Garden,
Ooh,
like, right?
yeah,
They
I'm familiar.
were the pioneers of like
Continue.
Yes. They are the pioneers of kind of like reinventing downtown, right? Like a downtown suburb feel, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Well, that model basically is being copied now with other downtowns. Like so now Ocoee's kind of doing this. Claremont did something similar. They're just reinvigorating their downtown.
Yeah.
And so now that model is becoming infectious. And I think this is greater for all the Orlando suburbs nearby. And now DeBerry is doing the very same thing.
DeBerry too.
Yep. DeBerry's new downtown is about to become a reality. Mosaic Development LLC has just acquired 13.1 acres for a $4.2 million expansion.
Yeah.
Making a crucial step towards their $60 million first phase of the DeBerry Main Street project. Their vision extends to a total of 470 apartments and 35 square feet of commercial space, transforming the area into a vibrant hub for residents and businesses alike. The project is scheduled to break ground early 24, pending the HUD's approval. But there's going to be lots of retail space, patio, eating space, picturesque pond. There's going to be a brewery.
Brewery. We love our brewery here in Central Florida.
Oh, yeah. So it's happening.
I love it.
That's awesome.
Isn't that
DeBerry's
great?
cool.
Yeah.
I've shown a few homes up
It's
there.
a sleepy little town, right? It's like
it's really far north, but
pretty far north. Yeah.
it's also like it's like they are part of Orlando, but they kind of have their own thing going on. They don't. If you live up there, you're not coming to Disney all the time. You're kind of out of the pocket, but it's still accessible,
But
which is cool.
They're piggybacking off of what we've done already.
I dig it. Yeah, I think that's great.
I think every little town should do that. I think
absolutely. It's
Kissimmee could take that.
And those are the
Kissimmee
areas. If you're an investor and you're looking for a place to invest, you have to look at this. You have to look at these metrics because if there's money going in there and there's commercial space, there's retail space, it's a great place to invest in real estate. It's a great place to build a new business.
Start a new business.
So these are the things that I would encourage people to do if they're starting out investing.
Yeah, for sure. I think as long as we keep it to that kind of that Florida type of architecture and building type and not try and be something that the town's not, I think that'd be great, you know, because you'd mentioned Kissimmee. Kissimmee has done a decent job building up a little bit of their downtown. They've brought in some new restaurants, redid some apartment buildings and stuff like that. But it's just not, it's trying to be something. I'm not sure what Kissimmee's trying to be, but it's trying to be something.
It doesn't have an identity.
It doesn't have an identity.
There's so many different versions of Kissimmee.
Kissimmee does have an identity. I think they just need to embrace it a little bit. Like it's a little cheesy. It's a little hokey. It's colorful. It's vibrant. It's a hodgepodge of different cultures.
Yeah, but I think every little downtown should start to model if they can after that, because everybody right now, people are flocking to either Claremont or Winter Garden to go to that, to have that experience of like this local feel, but still like clean and nice.
Sure, yeah.
Right.
But some people are driving 30, 40 minutes to do that. Yeah. Why don't you just put it in my backyard?
Well, that's what's happening in
Hunters Creek.
That's what's happening in Davenport. Like
Davenport
Nona is getting a brewery.
Area. Yeah, Davenport. Like Lake Nona has that, but they're just a little more upscale.
Sure.
But they have that. They don't leave Lake Nona unless they are meeting friends, like you know. But they should start to do that. Orlando's so cool, and all the little pockets are so diverse.
Yeah.
That you can make Davenport, like you said, like any of that stuff is, you know. I like it. I think it's progress.
I think it's progress.
I think that's progress too.
Yeah. I'll go to DeBerry. We should go there.
Good luck, DeBerry.
Two of us should decide to go there and leave the other one out.
Yeah, I'll probably
and
not
then not
go.
tell them about it, and then tell them
You're not gonna go?
afterwards.
No, I'm not going to go.
I feel like it's your turn to. You two should go do something.
Do you want to go to DeBerry?
Anywhere where they have scooters.
But don't tell me.
down.
Don't tell me when you're going, and then just talk about it on the podcast.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
Love
So
doing
it's a
that.
surprise.
We love the other person if you'll exclude it.
Speaking of podcasts, should we interview somebody?
I'm excited for our guest, guys. Shall we go?
Let's
give
talk
her
to
a
her.
listen.
Let's talk to Angela.
Welcome back, everybody. We are today on the show. We are sitting down with the brilliant mind behind Moxie Brands, a top marketing and brand consultant firm here in Orlando. With over 16 years of experience, she has taken companies to multi-million-dollar revenues, launching products, handling strategic partnerships, refining brand clarity, and coupling that with actionable sales and marketing execution. Her passion lies in empowering individuals and companies to tell their stories, reach their audiences, drive growth, and become industry leaders. She has worked with several organizations throughout her career, ranging from pharmaceutical and medical companies to sports and apparel companies. Beyond her career, she is passionate about the fight against human trafficking and supports Orlando-based United Abolitionist Organization. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Angela Robbins.
Angela!
thanks so much for being on the podcast today. We
Thank you
appreciate
for having me. Thank
Yeah.
you for such a beautiful introduction.
Absolutely.
I'm like,
yeah.
that's not me.
These words sound so good.
A lot of the guests there, because like that's like our chance to build up the
One introduction.
Yeah.
Introduction. Too,
so we
yeah.
get to build up our guests, and so a lot of the times they're always like, wow, that's really nice, and I guess I did do all that stuff. So,
Yeah.
well, first, I think our first question is, this is a podcast about Orlando. Are you from Orlando?
I am. I wasn't born in Orlando. I was born in Fort Myers,
Okay.
but I lived in Orlando almost my whole life.
Wow. Okay.
So I grew up here locally. I went to St. John Vianney Catholic School. I went to Dr. Phillips High School.
Oh, wow. So
Nice.
you are a tried and true local.
Yes.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
All right. Very cool. Can you tell us a little bit about your time here before you decided to go to college? What were you doing? What did you do for fun? How was the town like?
Yeah.
Did you cruise around iDrive?
Like, because there was
No.
nothing. People don't understand the landscape of Orlando like,
Sure.
over the years. There's nothing out there.
Yeah,
Like, Winter
so-
Garden didn't exist.
I know. So I grew up on Masters Boulevard in
Okay.
Bay Hill in the 80s. And
Oh, I bet that was cool.
I bet that was very
behind my
cool.
house, it was all orange groves.
Yeah.
Now it's all developed.
Yeah.
Wallace Road used to be a dirt road when I was
Wow.
a child.
That's
Yeah.
crazy.
The way from my house down to Turkey Lake Road was a lot of like 1 and 2 lane roads and dirt roads. And it was the 80s. And so we didn't know that crime happened or that danger happened to kids. And so I pretty much like ran free.
yeah.
Mhm.
We talk
from-
about this all the time.
Yeah, I mean, I was always out. I would leave my house in the morning and come home for dinner. I mean, I would run around with my gang in my neighborhood and
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
um
My mom had a bell that she rang when it was time for dinner.
yeah.
She did. I'd be on
literal
the other
dinner
side
bell?
of the neighborhood. She would ring the dinner bell,
Yeah.
and then we would know to come home for dinner.
Ours
Yeah.
was the street lights. Like once the street lights came
Oh.
on, that
Yeah.
was it. You
Oh,
gotta
yeah.
head home.
Yeah.
Such a different time.
But I have 3 older brothers, and so growing up in the 80s with 3 older brothers, and I have a younger sister, and we were all really athletic, really into boating and water and the outdoors. So we grew up doing a lot of boating time on the Butler Chain.
Nice.
We had this jump tree behind our house, so we would like climb up and jump. And I mean, yeah, it's amazing that I survived.
Can you
some
still,
of
when
it.
you go look at your old neighborhood in that area, do you still see it that way? Or
No,
you-
it's
so
actually
different, right?
I actually prefer not to drive through where I grew up because it
Hmm.
just looks so different
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
it's almost like
Tarnishing the memories.
it's almost like and here's a interesting thing about me is I still dream in my house in my childhood home.
Really.
So when I dream, I'm there. But
Whoa, that's cool.
I know, and I tell people that, and they're like, "What?"
That is
And
so
I think it's
specific.
because my dad passed away unexpectedly when I was 17,
Okay.
and I think that trauma response like evoked
Yeah,
trying to
sure.
hold on to like
That
physical tangible places of where I had time with him. And so
Mhm.
now like in my adult life, even I've had dreams even that are so vivid where I'm like in my childhood home with my daughter, like
Mhm.
as me now.
Wow.
So I'm like living there with my kid
Mhm.
in that house that I grew up in. So yeah, it gets very confusing. And so when I try to drive back through there, I'm like, this is just weird.
It's messing it
Yeah.
all up.
It's
yeah.
messing it all up.
For sure.
Yeah.
Mhm.
For sure.
So then you went to Dr. Phillips High, and then where'd you go to college?
I went to the Savannah College of Art and Design.
Oh,
Yes.
that's fun. So
And
you left.
She has a Bachelor of Fine Arts,
Yes,
Oh.
yes.
which is what was going to be one of my questions. Like, because I know you went to the business side of things.
Uh-huh.
What made you like pivot from there? Were you like, oh, should I
Yeah, what were you
pursue
gonna
a
do?
career in the
Was
arts,
it
or
your
should
love
I
of
go?
upholstery? You know?
Touche.
That's a real
Touche,
question. She did make her own shoes.
I know. I mean, like, if,
Yeah.
if you people out there in YouTube land
can't
can
see
her
it,
shoes,
but
you can't see her shoes.
She made it. Oh, yeah,
they're so
Very
great.
nice.
They're so
Hand
great.
wove
They're
them.
so pretty.
They are pretty.
But no, so I went to SCAD, and gosh, I guess to back up just a bit,
Mhm.
I have always loved writing. I've been a writer since I was a kid. I actually wrote a couple of like children's books as a child. Still haven't published them. They're embarrassing to read now, but but I journal, and I was just kind of a prolific writer. And so when my dad passed away unexpectedly, I turned to writing, and I really embraced photography as well. And so I had been into photography as a child. Like my parents used to kind of ration my film because I would just shoot film all the time. And my mom's like, this is expensive.
Right.
Every time I'm going to develop these rolls of film. And it would be like an obscure picture of like the corner of a room or like the side of
Yeah,
like,
you saw the art, but everybody was like, you
so
messed
my
this
mom's
picture
like,
up.
the corner of your dresser. Like what's going on here? But so anyway, I just decided to pursue that. And so my senior year of high school, that was right after my dad had passed away, I just started skipping class and going to the darkroom all day. And so I was just in this, I don't know, kind of escape from reality. And I put together a beautiful portfolio. I wrote a very powerful essay, and I got a scholarship to SCAD
Wow.
to study
So cool.
photography and communication arts and art history. So I went there.
You know, I have a Bachelor of Art in Art History.
Really?
I do.
Oh.
Yeah, and I did photography in college as well.
Yeah.
Cool.
My whole sophomore and junior year, I spent like the entire thing in the dark room.
Yeah.
Learned how to mix all the chemicals and do all that
That's,
stuff.
that was
and-
me.
Yeah, it was awesome. Then my senior year, I was the only person that signed up for the class, and we had a bunch of scholarship money for it. And so since everybody dropped out, and I was the only person in the class, we did some experimental photography stuff. So we actually turned the back of a U-Haul into a dark room, and we would go and we would shoot
wow.
these homemade pinhole cameras on site, and we would go develop them right there in the back of the U-Haul.
Okay, I am freaking out right now. So I made my own pinhole cameras.
What?
And do you remember the Hoga?
Yes.
Yeah.
What? You made a Hoga?
I was like, no, I was just obsessed with them.
Oh my gosh.
And,
Okay.
And I would get them and I would tape up the back of them. But I went through
so
this whole.
what
This
is a
became
pinhole?
a photography podcast.
Yeah, what is a pinhole camera?
Yeah.
Like a
So-
camera that goes
Listen.
into a pinhole, I'm assuming.
For sure. So
Seems pretty simple.
I mean, I'm sure you can explain it as well. Essentially it's a pinhole, and the only amount of light that's let into the chamber is through this pinhole, and you expose a piece of photography paper directly. So it's kind of a way where you can either do a piece of film, you can kind of put that onto the piece of paper and it can transpose that, or a lot of people like to do natural lighting where they'll have the pinhole, and then they'll have the sun kind of go through and form different images and things on the back of the paper because it's going through the pinhole in different ways.
Sure.
So it's there's different things you can do. You can do like landscaping with it.
It's cool though.
Yeah, it's awesome, but everything's reversed.
Right. So have you ever heard the story of the girl with the pearl earring?
Yes.
Did you read the book?
I did not read the book.
Okay. So in that Renaissance era of painting, that's how this was discovered. So what they would do is they would black out all the windows in the painting studio, and they would have a tiny little hole where they would let the light come in and onto the subject, and it would put their portrait on a white wall.
Yeah.
And so basically they were making a giant pinhole camera in a room.
Oh,
Right?
okay, yeah.
So same kind of concept, but in a tiny little box and onto a piece of film.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you studied art history
Mhm.
and photography.
Mhm.
You graduated.
Mhm.
Then what?
I moved to Dallas.
Dallas, Texas.
Dallas,
Texas.
yes. I moved to Dallas. I started working in publishing.
Okay.
I got a job with McClatchy Company as an art director.
Cool.
It was pretty funny. I was in charge of a magazine called DFW Dog.
Ooh, fancy dogs.
Oh, fancy dogs.
Yeah.
Did you know that very rich people buy dog beds that cost like $5,000?
Outta here.
They buy Tiffany collars with real diamonds.
They don't
Outta
just
here. The
sleep
luxury
in
dog
beds with,
market.
Yeah,
like
the
other
luxury
It was a
dogs?
thing.
There's
It's
a
not- I don't
luxury
think
dog
it's-
market.
I don't know if it's still a thing.
I'm sure it is.
Oh, I bet it is.
But this was back when Jessica Simpson had her little dog, and she would take her little dog everywhere. And this was when
Uh-huh.
she and Nick Lachey had their reality show and everything.
Mhm.
That's kind of what made this even more of a thing, because people were like, "Ooh, I want to spoil my dog like she spoils her dog."
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Crazy.
That became
so
that
you
era
were, so
of the
you
dog in
were
the bag.
obviously in that mode because you were helping with the magazine.
I
And
did
there
the
was a
job.
magazine.
I did the job for a really brief stint, and what ended up happening is while I was working there, I was also putting my services on Craigslist. Guys, this is before Craigslist was creepy. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh
for
yeah,
sure.
yeah. No,
This
it was
is when it was
normal.
legitimate.
I remember real Craigslist.
Yeah,
It was
real
cool.
Craigslist was awesome.
Yeah.
So I was, putting out that I'm a SCAD graduate. I'm living in Dallas. I do design. I can write, and I was trying to connect with small businesses to do some freelance work, because ultimately I wanted to have my own creative agency.
Mhm.
And so, after a couple of months of working in publishing, and I was also working for an entertainment lawyer, doing photos of actors, models, TV people, making comp cards, building websites like really building their brand so that they could be pitched for commercials and media and things like that. And I got into doing some sports casting kind of stuff with people there. It progressed.
Lots of activity in
It
Dallas
progressed
itself.
naturally,
Yeah.
but what happened is I was working in nightclubs in Dallas.
Oh, really?
And yeah, because I had a lot of student loan debt and I was like, I'm not going to carry this with me for a long time because I got to start a company. So
sure.
I needed to stockpile cash so I could start a company, and I needed to get rid of all of my debt so I didn't have that hanging over me. So I was just hustling, man.
for sure.
That's awesome.
I was working during the day on my freelance. I was going to my job, working on my freelance, and working in nightlife, in like upscale nightclubs, doing bottle service.
So your 18-hour days.
Yeah. But it was
Wow.
but it was amazing. I loved it.
Yeah,
I mean,
sure.
yeah. And I had a lot of energy. You know, I was 21, 22, 23
Right.
years
Do
old.
whatever, yeah.
And is that where the birthplace of Moxie happened, or was it after?
Sort of. So the first thing I did is I started an online magazine called Extrovert. And the idea there is I am not an extrovert, but people think I am because I've become such a chameleon. And so it was sort of me exploring that, like becoming an extrovert and what is it like to be an extrovert. And it wasn't until later that I honed in on the word Moxie, which is sort of similar. If you have Moxie, people probably see you as an extrovert because they see you as someone very bold, audacious, ready to, you know, grab life and do the damn thing. So but yeah, I started with Extrovert Magazine first, and I had a big launch party. I did some work with Neiman Marcus, with Modern Luxury. I think it was just like a little bit ahead of its time. It was online, and that was online magazines weren't really a thing yet. It was still very much print. And when I tried to explore print, I was up against Modern Luxury and D Magazine, and it was just not the right environment or landscape to try to start a print magazine to go head to head with something that had been so
wow, that's kind of interesting that you started there though, because then that kind of put you ahead of the curve elsewhere. Because not a lot of people,
because they're all online now.
Because they're all online now.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know, you kind of like being that you started there. It's kind of like, well, I've been here.
And you know, but you know what's really funny is the work that I do with my clients now is pulled away from digital. In fact, I really believe in getting back to a more holistic approach to sales and marketing, and some brass tacks. Experiential marketing is a big part of what we do. Clarity of message, so that across all channels you have a voice, a brand voice, and something that people can resonate with. And so we're not just like a digital marketing agency.
It's easier to get lost in the scroll now.
It's so crowded and convoluted,
and so you have to be creative, and you have to have like a tactile sense to your business and your brand.
Yeah.
And so is that where you got like a sense of, oh, this is the importance of brand, this is the importance of creative marketing?
Yes, because when I was there, and so I work for a magazine, I'm doing design work for print and working with companies. I have this online magazine, but I wanted to have a print magazine. And I actually have this photo when I start my workshop that I put up on the screen, and it's of my living room floor in my apartment in Dallas. And there's just like piles of magazines everywhere, because I signed up for every single magazine you could. I mean, everything from all the interior design magazines, all the fashion magazines.
Just learning, right? And
just absorbing. And what I would do is I would rip out ads that I thought were really effective, and I would put them in journals, and then I would write about it. I would be like, okay, I love the emotion of this, and then the way that this word makes you think this, and pulling together the idea of images and words.
You were going to school.
I was going to school by absorbing, and I had.
And that's the best kind of school too.
Yeah. So that's really where it all started, and I think the aha moment for Moxie Brands came much later, and that was through an experience I had where I accidentally became a VP of sales and marketing. So for the first time, I wasn't just doing marketing, I was in charge of a sales team as well. And I learned that I had a natural ability to understand value proposition in sales.
Nice.
And then I had to figure out, well, how do I weave that into what I'm doing so that everything from a branding perspective is also sales, because really that's what building a business is, right? We're selling, we're selling something.
Get the attention for something else.
Yes, exactly.
Yep. It's either yourself or a product, but you know, for sure.
So I think that's kind of my big differentiator now with Moxie Brands is we think about things from a revenue growth perspective and from a sales perspective, and arming sales professionals, business development professionals to have the right materials, but also to have a deep understanding of the brand and their value proposition so that when they go into a one-on-one meeting, or if they show up digitally, or if they're at a live event, no matter what part of the company there's any kind of interaction with, it feels cohesive and everybody's like rowing in the same direction.
Yeah,
Very cool.
for sure.
So then you were in Dallas. So like obviously this is an Orlando podcast. So
Yeah.
what brought you back? Like a lot of people come back. You grew up here, so I feel like that.
What do you think brought me back? Take a guess.
I'm gonna say family. No.
Well, it was actually.
I'm
a
gonna
guy.
say Taco Chino.
Oh, a guy.
Guy.
Taco. It was.
over on
I'm gonna
North
say
Mills.
Teak. I'm gonna say Rusty.
They actually opened a Wawa, and
Yeah, she was like,
so
"Oh,
you
Wawa."
heard, you heard Buc-ee's was here? Like, was that your drawback?
a guy.
So when I moved back to Orlando, my family wasn't here anymore.
What?
Oh wow.
That's what's pretty funny.
So all your brothers
Because you
and
could go
sisters.
anywhere. I mean, you were in Dallas. Dallas is a cool
Yeah.
city too. A lot of opportunity there. Obviously.
I really
Wow.
liked Dallas. My family was no longer here. My brothers ended up in South Florida.
Mhm.
My sister was living in Tallahassee at FSU. She's a little bit younger than me. And my mom ended up relocating to a different part of Texas at one point, and then she was back down in South Florida. So
Oh my goodness.
I came back to Orlando because I reconnected with my first love.
Oh, okay.
And it didn't work out. But that's
That's
all right.
okay.
but that's what got me
Sure,
here.
no, I'll do.
Yeah, they,
So,
some
yeah.
of them don't.
But yeah,
That
but
brought you
that's,
back
but that's
to
what ultimately brought me
Orlando.
back to Orlando. Yes.
No way. That's great, though.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
at that point, was Moxie born yet?
Nope. Not quite yet.
Okay.
And so at that point, I came back, and my company at the time was just called AR Design.
Ooh.
Okay.
Wow,
Okay.
so dynamic.
So very
Arr.
original.
Arr.
Very original.
AR, Angela Robbins.
I like it. Yeah.
So but then so he was in the military,
Mhm.
and I had an opportunity to travel all over the world with him because he had a civilian job working on different military bases. So I ended up living abroad for a long time,
Mhm.
and that is when Moxie Brands was born.
Cool.
So I started doing even more writing. I had a lot of time to I don't know. I was in beautiful places and I was alone a lot.
Mhm.
So I'm in a foreign
So you're
country
inspired.
and
Yeah.
I'm alone a lot, and I was out going on adventures, solo adventures with my camera, with my journal, and I did a lot of reflecting on everything I had been through in my life. I started writing even kind of my story, and that's when I realized that the word Moxie was super important to me because it was something that my dad would describe me as his Moxie girl.
So was that
awesome.
like,
That's
so you're
awesome.
in a beautiful place, you're, kind of living your eat, pray, love life. And like, was that the opportunity that you needed to think big? Like, right. Cause that's where you have to think a little bit big.
I mean, I would love to say like, yes,
Yeah.
but I don't know that I was seeing the forest through the trees yet at that point. I just was ready to get started.
Yeah.
And I think that's an important thing as far as just a takeaway for anyone in life, and entrepreneurs or anyone that's doing whatever. It's like, you don't have to really know
Where
you're going or
it's
what you're
going.
doing yet. Just get started.
Feel inspired.
And feel inspired. And so, yeah, I just kind of went with it. My company actually originally was called True Moxie. So I built a website, truemoxiestudios.com, and I did photography and design assets that supported the photography, personal branding, company branding. It wasn't until maybe a decade later that I even came full circle and had Moxie Brands and got very, very clear about being a growth partner, pulling in the sales component, all of that. So
you have
yeah,
a
it's
brick and
been an
mortar?
evolution. No, I don't.
Really?
I do not.
Cool.
we
Wow.
don't either.
We don't either.
Yeah, I don't need one. I have a dedicated brick and mortar in my home. I have a good sized house where I have like a dedicated office in my house.
Yeah.
And it's large enough for me to even have my whole team like come in, and
Awesome.
I have a conference room area and everything. So
That's great.
I set all that up kind of during COVID.
Now, and you mentioned you just got back from going to do a conference and things.
Yeah.
And you said, circling back to what you commented about how you're trying to get back to tactical sales. They call it belly to belly in real estate. Going back to the belly to belly. You don't make any great connections unless you're shaking hands, that kind of thing. Do you think that has a lot to do whenever you're connecting with someone to take that personal brand to the next level, so you can actually get to see who they are, you can gauge who they are, or is it kind of just you you show up and you see what it is and you kind of do that, you know?
I have a very particular process that I follow when I engage with a new client, and I must begin in person.
Okay. Yep.
100%. I think there's a certain part of what I do that is, I can't really fully explain it. I consider myself, after years of self-work, to be an emotional empath and intuitive. And for many years, it was like the thing that was crippling me because I was feeling other people's energy and absorbing other people's shit and not really understanding how to deal with that emotionally. Now I've learned how to harness that and turn it into power. And
how do you do
really,
that?
And really help.
That's some like
Is it
secret
boundaries?
sauce.
I'm sorry, what?
I said, well, yeah.
He was saying how, and
How
I was
did you
like,
do that?
Is it just like boundaries like with the clients or like,
So I've actually studied the Silva mind control method, which is so it's a guy that taught his children ESP, and it's this idea that our minds are so much more expansive than we would ever know or believe. And if you can really allow yourself to send and receive to whoever you're with in a really unfiltered and uninhibited way, that you can receive a lot more if you let yourself. And I don't necessarily like tell everyone this is what I'm doing with you right now.
Right.
Well, you're just tuned in. You're just tuned in and you're actively listening.
I don't even take on a client if I don't feel like they will collaborate with me in that sense. If I meet someone and they're like all over the place and I'm like, whoa, come on, like, then I can't.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't want to help people that don't want to help themselves.
Yeah.
And I feel like I have to be in a situation where someone's really willing to like do the work internally. It's getting a good solid strategy for growth. There's a lot that goes into it because as a leader, you have to be willing to accept that you might even be the problem. There maybe some of your growth challenges have to do with you and your own leadership or your ability to attract the right team, get the right people around you. I'm a firm believer that companies are made up of the people that are building them. And so if you are running a company and you can't attract the right people around you and get them to run through a wall for you, well, you're not going to grow anywhere.
Right.
You're not
it's all relationship based too, so like that's like an essential component of it. And it depends on how you have relationships with people. I think that plays a big thing into it.
You said it's a holistic approach, and whenever you say that, do you mean that it's just more on you tapping into those types of feelings and how you're feeling and like what the energy is in the room as to how you're going to direct that? Or
I have a process that I guide my clients through. It's a full day workshop in the beginning, and I try to really understand what are they even trying to do. And as I walk them through this process, a lot of times stuff comes out that then we can shine a light on it and figure out, why is this a roadblock? Some entrepreneurs are in kind of this unicorn situation where they're really good at a lot of things. Right. I mean, that's why they jump into this, because they realize like, I can speed read. I can learn this overnight. I learned code. I built my own website. I did my own social media. I'm shooting a podcast. And that's amazing. And they're really good at a lot of things, but they sometimes have to get out of their own way a little bit to empower people, put people in the right positions to take their ideas and drive them forward, because you can't do it all on your own.
Right.
Sheer bandwidth, you're going to burn out and you can't accomplish all the things you want to accomplish quickly enough. And I learned this not always, through struggles and through my own downfall. I mean, I used to be crippled by perfectionism, and I was a hoarder of control and tasks and duties, because I was, if someone was working on something and I felt like they weren't doing it to my level or what I wanted, I'd be like, get out of the way. I'll just do it.
I'll just do it myself.
Right. And I had to learn to stop being that way and to really give the space for people to learn and absorb and
fail.
That's very interesting too. Yeah.
But also to very clearly communicate what was even the vision and the mission, where we even trying to go, because you can't expect people to be a mind reader.
Right.
I mean,
so when people come to you, do they already have a pretty good established situation, or are they completely like, I need a brand?
No, usually people come to me after they've already hit even a few million in revenue, and now they're stuck and trying to get to the next level.
Yeah.
And a lot of times it's because they're doing like random acts of marketing. They're kind of all over the place.
Yeah.
They maybe are trying to dip their toe in too many different pools instead of deep diving into one specific industry or niche. So that can be one reason. But actually getting ready to, because there's more businesses of different sizes that I would like to be able to help, been working on over the last year or so something I'm calling Shot of Moxie, which is
That's cool.
a spinoff of Moxie Brands, and it will be for the small business, for more of that upstart. Because I do love that 0 to 60.
Yeah.
Sure,
I
yeah.
love
to be
it.
a part of the growth.
I just love it. And
It's so exciting.
it's so exciting,
Yeah.
but it can be very chaotic.
So you've had a
Yeah.
very long career with Moxie. What has been like your biggest accomplishment or something that you've been really proud of?
One of the things that made me the most proud was a few months ago, I went and took my daughter to Paris, and I completely unplugged from my business, and my team ran everything.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's gotta
And
feel good.
that was such a special milestone. And it sounds so funny, right? It's like, well, okay, big deal. No, it was a big deal.
Sure.
If you knew where I came from and how much of a control freak I was and how much I was crippled by perfectionism, like that could have never happened.
Yeah.
And now it's action over perfection. Get it done. Good is good enough. But we still have to hold a high standard, obviously, for our clients, but to just get myself out of the way and let people do what they do.
Trust what you've,
Yeah.
the people
You built
put
the
in place.
machine, yeah, so
And even I have to take my own advice. Like I have to, take my
Right,
own medicine.
Yeah.
If
yeah,
I'm
for
telling
sure.
other people to do this, but I'm not doing it myself, well, then what is that?
Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was probably
That's cool.
that's something that stands out
Sure.
in this past year. This new thing I'm doing with Shot of Moxie, I'm proud of what I've done there too, because I was able to dedicate space to really stop working in the business and work on the business. And so just like, again, the advice that I give my clients, if you're in the trenches every day and you're running all the things and you have your hands in every department, then you're in the middle. I have a mentor of mine who told me a philosophy that he calls the over and the under. And what this is in a business, there's the over, which is the vision. You're looking out over the horizon at what's around the corner, what's coming next. The under is staying close to your customer, your consumer, understanding their needs, and also your employees, understanding what's filling their cup, what's getting them out of bed every day.
Right.
The middle is mid-level management and logistics, operations. That is where you need to stay out. So as a leader, you should stay in the over and the under and stay out of the middle. And if you do that, you'll be a lot more successful. And I think that was some really valuable advice that I got. And once I applied that to my own business, it made all the difference.
Sure. It's easy to scale that way when you're
Yes.
focusing on the bigger vision.
Yeah,
Yes,
not the
definitely.
day-to-day
Yes.
stuff.
Yeah.
What I have a question because we love brand. Brand is such a fun word.
Well, when
right?
people realize the importance of brand, they're like,
Yeah.
oh, they go all in. I feel
But you're like a brand expert. That's literally your
What you do.
business. What is brand to you?
Brand is everything that you see, feel, touch, experience about a product or service. So it is not a logo, a color, a tagline. It is an entire experience of a product or service or person. And it's
Like
a
a
million,
message.
it's a million tiny interactions.
Yeah.
And I think because people make companies, people become the extension of the brand. And that's a really important part for businesses to remember, because if you have scaled really quickly and you've sent all these people out into the world to represent you, and they're not clear on your core values and what you're trying to
Like the message of the company.
or
essentially.
what legacy you're trying to leave, then how are they representing you and your brand the way that you would want and expect them to? So that's a huge part of a growth plan, in my opinion, that is very valuable and important. And if you think about some of the best companies out there, usually there's an incredible culture. There's an incredible culture in the company, and the people that work there love working there.
Right.
They love their leader. They're hashtagging on social media. They're
They drink the
They're
Kool-Aid.
drinking the Kool-Aid
Yeah, they're
of
raving
the
fans.
company,
Yeah.
and that spreads like wildfire.
Mhm.
And so that's an important part of it too. My mother was in HR, and I learned a lot through osmosis of just watching her as a leader, hearing what she had to say about leadership and vision. And it's just so important for people to know, where are we even going?
Mhm.
What are we trying to accomplish? Why does it matter? What does it mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I think those are all important parts of brand that people overlook sometimes because they get so focused on the details of the visual side of a brand.
Right.
But a brand is a lot more than the visual side of things.
Yeah.
Sure. I have a question. Now, I was doing some research and I saw that you did some work with the Florida Medical Marijuana Physicians Association advocating for safe and appropriate use of medical marijuana. Now, that has some challenges because there's a lot of stigma around the use of marijuana.
Yes.
How do you, as a marketing consultant, as a brand specialist, how do you work around that? Because obviously there's some room for creativity and to get real fun with it, but it's also a big challenge. So,
well, there's a huge thing going on in Florida right now, and even at the federal level, because certain entities want recreational marijuana use, and the medical community does not, because there's a few reasons. Obviously, they want, from a financial standpoint, right? Like, that's going to impact their business drastically.
Yeah.
If people can go get it anywhere, it takes out the need to go to a physician, and you just go straight to a dispensary. But the reason that I am passionate about that is just because I think medical freedom is important. And I think that people need to know all of the resources and things that are available to them. And there's science-based evidence that proves that marijuana use helps a lot of people. There's also an opioid crisis. And I lost a personal friend to opioids after a car accident, and she left behind 2 children, one of which, I'm the godmother of. And it's just, there's a lot of deep, sad things that can happen when people get addicted to pills. And I hate drugs, but I think marijuana is great for some people. So it's not about like advocating for marijuana use. It's about advocating for medical freedom and giving people the access if they want it.
Right.
And I think if it's under the guidance of a doctor, and I think people need to see it as medicine instead of seeing it as a drug.
Recreation.
Yeah.
And
so there's a challenge though, because there is so much stigma.
Sure. So
around
that's part of why FLMPA exists. So the Florida Medical Marijuana Physicians Association was actually founded first by someone I went to high school with, Ryan Scottson. I've known him forever. And he came to me to bring me in to help with the marketing side. But yeah, it's his passion. I mean, he founded Canna MD. He was one of the first movers in the state of Florida to say, hey, cannabis is great for some people, and we need to make this readily available, but keep it safe and keep it science-based. There's so much scientific evidence, So, yeah.
Yeah,
Very
and there's
cool.
you just look at states like California and Colorado and Oregon and things like that that have had it recreational for so long. It's a whole slew of problems on their own, but there's both sides that you could argue that it's good and bad. But the fact of the matter is that right now it's science-based. You know where it's coming from. It's legit. You know that you have to actually go to physicians here.
You
in
just
Florida.
touched on such an important thing, and for everyone listening, this is so important. Like anything you put in your body, you need to know where it comes from.
100%.
And that's really the other reason why I think, even thinking about my own child, chances are when she's in high school or college, Ava, don't do it. But no, she's going to experiment with things. We all did, right? I mean, everyone.
You're an adult. You get to make choices.
Yeah, you make choices. And if there's anything I can teach her, it's that don't be stupid about it. Don't ever buy drugs off the street. Don't ever take something that you don't know where it comes from. And that's part of the education. That's part of why an organization like a Marijuana Physicians Association is important, because we are advocating for keeping it controlled to a certain degree, where people can know where it's coming from, is grown in a safe and controlled place. It's not laced with bad things.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Because like we talked about, it's different now. You know, it's different now. Growing up is different now.
Oh,
Everything's
yeah.
different
Totally.
now. It's not the 80s and the 90s.
Yeah,
and all
you're
that kind
not
of jazz.
meeting the guy in the 7-Eleven parking lot
Yeah,
getting the bag of
it's not
swag.
the same.
Kids are
So-
way more connected and have more perspective on the world than ever before. So
Yeah.
it's definitely important that parents and people just like
It's super
help
important
guide
that parents
them.
talk about it.
Yeah.
We have to nowadays.
Well, we
Yeah.
have so much coming over the border into the country right now too, like just really scary, dangerous pills
Sure.
that are ending up in our schools and everything
Oh, yeah.
else. So it's
Yeah.
it's a whole
I know
thing.
that they just recently passed something where like they're allowing fentanyl strips to be able to go out to high school students and stuff whenever they're going to be going out for the weekend. I mean, it's not good, but you know what? We have to be able to. We're setting our kids up for success. We have to set them up for success.
I just went to an event with Project Opioid, which is a group here locally, and they were giving out the I can't, why am I blanking on the name? The counter thing. Like if you end up accidentally ingesting, you like put it under somebody's nose and it saves your life.
Yeah.
And they're talking about how, we need to get that in our schools. Like every teacher should have it in the classroom, because it's sad. It's a sad reality, but
Yeah.
kids are eating things that they don't know what they're eating and they need to,
Right.
It's really scary.
yeah. So anyway, we got on a tangent.
We did on a
did.
tangent.
We did get on a tangent.
Guys,
You
drugs
know?
are bad.
We're a shorter podcast, so we're coming to the end. But I want to ask one more question. You obviously are great at brands, and you know how to take businesses from one level to the next. If there was like an Orlando-based company that you would want to get your hands on and work with, who would it be?
Ooh.
Oh my gosh, why didn't you let me
Research
digest
that?
this
I know.
question?
I know. I don't know.
Hi, Hello Labs.
Hi, Hello Labs. They need a lot of work.
Oh man, no, they're doing an amazing
They're
job.
doing a great job.
They're kicking ass, Carlos.
Yeah, that's a great question. I'll give it some thought. We haven't always worked with Orlando-based companies.
Yeah,
So
I noticed that you go all,
I have
all over
clients.
the place.
Yeah, I have clients in other parts of the country, and that's just happened through.
Let me
we can ask another
ask
question.
one. What's your favorite kind of company to work, like niche, like industry?
Medical field,
Yeah,
sports.
I
Tech-based.
love tech. I love SaaS, like software as a service kind of
Mm-hmm.
companies. I like working with tech. I like companies that have grown to a certain place and now they're going to have to really start building out different divisions and lots of different moving parts. So it feels like a startup, but it's an established kind of
Yeah, they're already
ground
successful.
floor.
They could keep doing that,
Yeah.
but they're not going to grow anywhere. They're just going to stay nice plateau.
And so I think the perfect company for me is to come into where maybe they have this really great core leadership team. Maybe there's 2 or 3 kind of right-hand people to the CEO and but they are lacking a lot of systems and processes and clarity on how are we going to go here and double, triple, 10x the size of our company. But definitely business to business has been something that we've spent a lot of time working in as opposed to direct to consumer.
Yeah.
We don't do a lot with e-commerce and paid traffic and direct to consumer. That's not
Gotcha.
really what we do. More service-based companies and B2B and tech and things like
Tech's
that.
fun.
Cool.
Yes.
Keep growing.
Maybe you could start working on the Orlando Dreamers project.
man.
I do
Get
love-
our baseball
The
team here in
baseball.
Orlando.
Well,
Well, I've
team
done a
there.
lot of work in the female sports space,
Yeah.
and I do love that world. Just sports in general. So yeah, I mean, I would love to do more with the business of sports.
Yeah, for sure.
Cool.
This episode's sponsored by the MLB. So thank you so much,
Major League-
Major
yeah,
League
thank you,
Baseball.
Major League Baseball.
Any digital recording of
Planet
this
Smoothie.
would-
And Plan Smoothie. How do people find you, reach you, look at you, and all that stuff?
Yeah.
People can find me at moxiebrands.com.
Sweet.
Google Angela Robbins, ROBBINS.
INS.
I'm on LinkedIn.
You got an Instagram?
I got an Instagram. My Instagram is more, it's like pictures of me and my daughter and my adventures.
Yeah,
and
that's fun. More personal.
I ride a one wheel. I love the beach. So it's not really a business business Instagram, but I am getting ready to start a new Instagram account. So if you want to follow it now for what's to come, it's called Shot of Moxie. So this is the
Follow
new.
it.
This is
We're
the
gonna follow
new
this.
thing.
We're releasing it today. We'll be the first 3 followers.
launch.
Yeah, I have I don't know, maybe 100 on there now, 100 followers right now. So
103
we gotta
now.
Now I got 103.
Ashley, you gonna follow it too?
104. That's marketing her company that she
yeah,
needs help
perfect.
with.
Well, we've enjoyed having you on
Yeah,
the
I've enjoyed
podcast.
being here. How
Yeah,
much
you're
fun.
super cool.
Fun.
Awesome.
Yeah, thank you.
And one more thing before you leave. thank you for your time. And what would you suggest?
I'm nervous.
That-
What are you talking
No,
about?
I didn't have anything.
I knew it.
I was just
Freaking knew it.
Make some shit
I
up.
knew it.
Time.
Yeah, time.
Time.
We can just keep talking. Let's do another episode.
That's generally what happens sometimes.
Yeah.
There's like, we're not recording anymore.
We can do 2 episodes back to back. We
Back
can
to
talk
back.
about a different.
We'll just switch chairs.
Yeah, talk about a different topic. Carlos is like, stop it, guys.
Awesome.
All right. Well, thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. This was great.